I see a lot of traders have hundreds and hundreds of pairs on the sidebar of their trading view, as well as futures and even stocks. And it really makes me wonder why, because what I find is when I switch to trading only one pair, my win rate went up as well as my overall trading performance. I only trade GBP USD, and in this video I'm going to be explaining to you exactly why I only trade this one pair and why you should do it too, as well as some tips that you can use to help decide which pair might be the best for you to choose to trade. So reason number one and tip number one that I have is about sessions. So when choosing your pair that you want to just trade, it's really important to make sure whatever session that pair has the most liquidity in is the session that works best to your trading times. So for example, the reason why I trade GU, cable, GBP USD, whatever it is you want to call it, is I like to trade in the mornings and I live in the UK. So obviously GBP USD has most of the volume in London session. So it was really important that I found a pair like GU that had high volume in the morning for me. However, some pairs like AU or AUD USD and certain other pairs typically will move better in Tokyo session, for example, and obviously that's quite late at night, and for me personally, I have no interest in staying up that late. So tip and reason number two as to why I trade only GBP USD is because it is the pair that I've spent the most time on, not only in terms of back testing but also trading live. So for me, GU made, quite a lot of sense. If it's the pair that I have most time on, of course, I'm going to want to trade that pair. So look at the pairs that you currently trade. Which pairs do you trade the most? Which trades do you backtest the most? And you can sort of then work out which pair you spent the most time on, and it will probably be your best pair. So for example, for me, as I said, I've traded GU from the start. I did also used to trade gold, but for me, I didn't spend as much time on gold. I didn't backtest it enough. And some other things to do with my strategy, and I basically found that gold was too volatile and not really suiting to what I wanted to trade like. So I dropped gold and now I only trade GU. So having said these reasons, why is it that you should only trade one pair? Why should you listen to me? Well, I was very much like someone that would have all of the pairs even down my sidebar on TradingView. I'd have every single pair. I'd check every single pair all the time. I just found it got very, very intense. For example, I'd look at GU, then I'd look at EU, and I'd see a nice setup on GU, but I was too busy looking at EU. So then I missed the trade on GU, and I actually end up missing the trade. Now, obviously that isn't too bad, but then there's certain psychological factors that can come into this. For example, you then force a trade on EU because you're annoyed you missed out of the trade on GU. So then you're going to force a trade on EU that probably won't work, and you'll end up taking a loss, which is something that no one wants to do. Now, another important reason why trading only one pair is important is because you cannot backtest all the different Forex major and minor pairs effectively at the same time. It is impossible to sit there and trade GU one night, EU the next night, GJ, then EJ, then AU. You're never ever going to get proper large amounts of data if you're trading hundreds of different pairs. So for example, you could take 10 trades on GU, but then you've done 10 trades on EU. But why wouldn't you just do 20 trades on GU and properly understand it? And then that way you're going to have much more depth of knowledge about that particular pair. So choosing one pair will not only make your live trading better, but it will also make your backtesting more effective, as you understand sort of a bit more in depth why the pair moves the way it does, certain times the pair moves, certain patterns, and certain reasons as to why this pair does what it does. Now, I'm not saying that you have to stick to one pair the rest of your trading career. Of course, once you've mastered a pair, you can't really master a pair, but once you're confident with a pair, you've backtested it enough, you're profitable on that pair, then maybe you can then look to add another pair and do the exact same thing. So don't just, think, right, I've mastered this pair, I'm now going to add every other pair back onto my watch list, and that will then mean I'm good. No, what you need to do is master one pair. Then once you've sort of understood that pair well enough to the point you're making money on it, and you can sort of get a better understanding as to why it moves, then choose another pair that again suits the reasons that I gave earlier, so the session and the times you like to trade. Then you can add the other pair and do the exact same thing as I mentioned until you've got the hang of that, and then you can look to add other pairs. So for example, say for me, GU, if I had fully understood GU, which I'm sort of getting there with it now, I can then look to add maybe a pair for New York session to trade in the afternoon, because I only like to trade GU in London. I don't really trade it in New York. I've got a little thing that I'm trying in New York that seems to be working okay, but most of the time I don't really like to trade GU in New York. So once I've truly got GU on lockdown, I can then look to add another pair for, as I said, New York session, for example. And then maybe in 10 years, who knows, you'll have a full sidebar again with all the pairs that you trade, and you won't have to deal with taking those losses because you fully understand each pair and you've taken it one pair at a time. So yeah, thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.